Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Blueberry Season. My name is Corey. I hope you're having a good day today. Today we have an awesome episode for y'all. We have our lovely, or some of our lovely aerial staff with us today. This is what now, like episode 5 or 6, Clifton. Like
episode
this
5.
is getting we're getting up there in numbers. I'm gonna have to start using fingers. Anyway, welcome back, guys. Like I said, hope you're having a good day. Today we have Sara and Jess from our aerial department. So I'm going to kick it over to Clifton for a brief intro on them, and then they're going to tell you more about themselves hereafter.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Blueberry Season podcast. So today for our whole aerial sports featured episode, we have Sara. She is our full-time aerial director here at the summit. She is a local right here from Fayetteville, West Virginia. And then we also have Jess. She is from Sandstonville, Virginia. But she's pretty much a local at this point, just because she's kind of like Corey and I, showed up to the summit and never left. So they work here at the summit. Jess is here seasonally, but she also does a bunch of second seasons, and she's also our Big Zip manager over the summer. So we are super excited to have the both of them on the podcast today, just to talk about all aerial sports, because I think definitely overall for me personally as a rover, like aerial sports is definitely my favorite program day for sure. But I think we're going to kick it off here. We're going to change our icebreaker a little bit. So I know myself, I'm a huge shopaholic. So I just love the bunker. Even without a discount, I think I would just go in there all the time. So what's something that you've been loving at the bunker recently, the both of you? Here, I'll give you the mic and you can think about it for a second. What do you think, Sara?
I've been eyeing some hats in there. They've got some new hats that I think I should definitely get one before the summer's over, just to shade my face and enjoy a cool hat.
I think my favorite has got to be the new line of clothes that have moths and butterflies on them. I am a moth enthusiast, and seeing them makes me very happy. So I've been eyeing those for sure.
So, unfortunately, today I don't have my hat with me. And this is new for me. But definitely, what would be my favorite thing in there right now? I have no idea.
There's a blanket with a map of the summit I'm eyeing too.
But those are pretty cool. I'd say right now, if I had to just off the top of my head, probably not our Columbia fishing shirts, but our other fishing shirts that we have. Those are pretty cool. I've been meaning to stop by and get me one or two of those, because like I've said in previous episodes, I love my fishing shirts. They are so comfortable. What about you, Clifton? What's your favorite thing right now?
Well, I recently just picked up my new favorite item from the bunker. I got the brown, black, and blue flannel. So I was super stoked. I acquired a gift card, not to toot my own horn, but I did get the Blueberry of the Week award a little bit ago. So I used my gift card to get a fraction of the flannel off. So they're so nice and cozy and amazing. But I splurged on one last season, so I was like, I don't know if I can buy another one, but I kind of girl mathed my way out of that one with the gift card. So I would say the flannel. So pick up a summit flannel if you are visiting us this summer for all your fall and spring flannel needs.
Absolutely. So I say let's go ahead and just dive on in.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Why don't y'all tell us what do y'all do? Obviously, Jess, you do Big Zip, but Sara, you are over all aerial sports. You are a full-time director. So tell us some of what y'all do at Big Zip, and then y'all's other aerial programs.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about Big Zip?
Yes, I do. I love Big Zip. Big Zip is my favorite program area ever. So we zip a lot of people. Fridays are our busiest day for sure. And what that looks like is getting to the Yamagata basement and laying out gear, making sure we have enough stuff for the participants that we're going to have that day, inspecting the top, inspecting the bottom, filling out reports and all that good stuff. And then comes the real fun, which is going through orientation, gearing the participants up, and then sending them down the zip line. Best thing ever.
Love to hear it. And Sarah,
Okay.
we don't need like every little detail, but just kind of a general overview, just to see. I mean, because like we all know like how you do a million things, so
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about some of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot of cool aerial things here. Anything from rock climbing to a leap of faith to the big zip or eagle flight. We have canopy tours and we have challenge courses. We also have a low cope course, which is really fun to get people kind of like getting to know themselves and each other and working as a team. So my job basically is just to kind of keep everything moving and making sure we have enough people here to work all these wonderful activities. I keep track of all the paperwork. I make sure things are inspected. I help with getting organized for like our third-party inspections and our NCAP and all that great stuff. So I'm kind of doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff. And my favorite part is when I get to fill in with everybody though, and actually get to run a course or help do gear at Big Zip and just interact with all the participants. So I love when they need my help. But otherwise, I'm running around just doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff.
So one question that I do have for y'all: what drew y'all to aerial? Like what made y'all go, yeah, I'm gonna do that?
I can go
Okay.
So I didn't have like a specific reason to do aerial. I kind of just wanted a fun summer job. I had a friend who worked here and he worked in shooting sports, and he said that I should be the one who like runs them ammo and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to cut it. I need something a little bit better than that. So he said zip line, and I was like, I think that'll do it. I think that could be really fun. And then it just became rock climbing and challenge course and then canopy zip lines. And of course, Big Zip is always going to be number one in my heart. But I think the top reason now is it's the closest I'll ever be to being an airbender. So I got to keep doing it.
So for me, I worked at another place that had similar aerial activities before this. And I was working there in their retail store. And I thought, oh, next summer, I'm just going to, become a canopy guide. And just if I can pass training and I can do it, I'm just going to do it for one summer just to have fun. I was hooked. I found my passion. And that was 10 years ago. And here I am still doing these things. But yeah, I found my people. I found my passion. It was just like I fit in there and I had a lot of fun. I got to introduce people to the forest. And a lot of people don't get to do things like that in their everyday life. So it was really nice to just be able to have a positive influence on people on the daily. And, I don't deal with their accounts or their money or anything. I get to take them into the trees. It's really fun.
There we go. Program. That's the fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I love my job.
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit of paperwork, but there's usually not too much behind. Well, I mean, I guess there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But the perk of the best perk of my job though is that when I'm not running around doing logistical stuff, I get to participate in the activities and stuff. So, and especially the aerial day, just because I appreciate how organized and with it y'all are, I can pretty much just throw my participants at you guys, and I kind of just am getting paid to rock climb and go on the Big Zip. So yeah, and overall in aerial, I mean, I do generally love basically everyone in the summit. We draw some of the best people here, but I would say aerial specifically, y'all just have the friendliest vibes. Y'all are all you're so enthusiastic. I every week, whether I have an amazing group, maybe a not so amazing group, I always I can count on my aerial day being good, just because y'all are always so joyous, and you can always tell when aerial loves their jobs, because y'all just love zipping and climbing, and it's always refreshing to see, for sure. So
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all's enthusiasm, and y'all's kindness as always. So thank y'all for that. So I think a little bit, kind of transitioning a little bit away from maybe not necessarily the aerial sports, but kind of the summit. So I know Sarah, you're local, but Jess, you're not originally super close to this area. What kind of originally drew both of you to the summit, or working at, well, I know your friend, but I guess what I'm trying to ask is kind of what made y'all stay? I mean, because I know for Corey and I, it started as a summer, and here we are, and you're Sarah, this is now your second full-time year with us, and you've been here a million times, like, which we obviously like love and appreciate. But I think Corey and I would, and we'd love our audience to hear just a little bit more about like why you stayed, why you love it here, just a little bit about the state and your experience so far.
So I think the number one reason that I have stayed is mostly because of the people, like Clifton just touched on a little bit. Everyone here is awesome, not just aerial people. Like every other program area has people that are amazing. And that's what is really good about fall season is you kind of get to bond with those other people that you didn't really get to bond with during the summertime. And you find out that like everyone here is just like the coolest person ever. But a top second would definitely be the wildlife. I have seen the most amazing things here that I would not see if I was still living in Virginia. And I'm just outside every single day, so I can't miss anything. Like, it's awesome. I see bear. I've seen so many fish, all the moths and insects. I've seen the baby deer and the bobcats, and it's just, oh, I love it all so much. So my top two reasons right there.
Awesome. Thank you.
My answer is pretty similar. The people here, the staff I get to work with every day, the support I feel is really something I haven't experienced in other places that I've worked. So I feel like that's really, really vital to having a good team and all of us enjoying ourselves. But yeah, the land here is gorgeous. I step outside every day and I'm like, this is where I work. A lot of people can't do that. It's like a very, very something I don't want to take for granted that, I get to work in this beautiful property with a bunch of really awesome people who are just as excited as I am to be here. So, yeah.
Awesome. Love to hear it.
So, even though, Jess, I know what your answer is going to be to this, but so besides Big Zip, what would y'all say is y'all's favorite aerial program area
To participate in.
Yeah, to participate in.
Like if say like they were like, okay, you can do any of our program areas in aerial, but just not ride the Big Zip today. What would y'all choose?
Okay, rude for taking away Big Zip, because that would definitely be my choice all day, every day. Yeah. Yes, okay, it would definitely be the rocks because one, rock climbing is awesome, and the rocks has a little bit more of a challenge than Boulder Cove has to offer. But also, I think our second best activity on property has got to be the Leap of Faith. The Leap of Faith is so much fun, and I could do it back to back to back all day long and not get tired of it. So if I could spend a day doing a program in aerial here, it would definitely be at rocks.
I am a canopy girl through and through. It's just to actually be in the canopy of the forest and to be up in the trees and above the ground. It's really cool. You get to zip from treetop to treetop to treetop. You get to zip over a creek. You get to watch people start out uncertain and then work their way up to feeling like they can do it by the end. And that's just like a really cool feeling to watch them progress over the course of each zip line, getting a little better, a little more confident every time. And you get to teach people out there a little bit about the woods that we're in. So it's one of my favorite things to do is talk about endangered species of trees and just the wildlife around us and the land underneath us. So it's really, that's my favorite for sure.
I have to agree with Jess. I really like the buffet.
That's fine. I'll make canopy for myself.
I will say, I dearly missed canopy in my past 2 summers here because, when I came for a couple of jamborees in the past, when I did 17 and 19, probably one of my program highlights at least was definitely doing the canopy tour. And I actually had the opportunity to do the OG canopy a million years ago. So, and then I've done the AP canopy a dozen times probably by now. But always in my participant life, I guess, I always I loved the canopy. So I definitely it has a special place in my heart, and I very much missed it the past 2 summers when we were just going through some logistical issues and stuff. But I don't know, recently, this past season, I always, even though I love getting to do the activities as a rover, I always want to make sure all of my participants and scouts have, more than enough opportunity to rock climb. And sometimes, I just end up having to sit out for whatever reason. But, leap is usually always the one thing we can budget for when I'm up at the rocks. And it's just so exciting because you can like run off it, you can jump off backwards, like well not jump, but you can stroll off backwards and stuff. And like I feel like it's just super unique. I feel like at least in like some of the other like local recreation, even though we love our partners, and some of our other vendors in the area, like I think that just Leap is something unique to us. So I really like Leap as well.
Absolutely.
What about you, Corey?
So,
What is your favorite to take photos of? As our resident media specialist on the podcast, except for our lovely Alex, producer behind the scenes, what is your favorite media coverage place?
that's a tough question. I like
As far as aerial sports.
I will say some of the coolest pictures I've gotten have been from Big Zip. I don't know though. The Leap of Faith though is always they always have some really cool pictures. I know last year we got some pictures of people doing rock paper scissors as they were doing it, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, I'd probably say like the rocks area. That's always fun to take pictures of. Plus, if you can get their like face as they're coming off, sometimes you get some really funny reactions and like some really crazy faces. So that's always fun. So yeah, I would have to say the rocks.
Awesome. And actually, that little tidbit about capturing participant reactions leads us perfectly into one of our next facets here of the podcast. So obviously, y'all have been doing aerial sports for a very long time, have tons of experience. What do you think is one of maybe your like most rewarding or like favorite participant interactions, like as of maybe like the past couple summers? To narrate. I mean, I know like you all have probably done like a million zip rides and climbs and whatever, but maybe like what are one or two of some of your like favorite or most rewarding like participant interactions that you've had at aerial?
So it was my very first summer, and I had this kid up at Big Zip, and he wasn't really feeling it. So I let him wait till the end of our group and decide if he wanted to go again. He didn't. So I was like, you know what? That's perfectly fine. We'll get you transpo down the mountain. And I was working celebration that night, and he came and found me and like hung out with me the whole time while I was watching rock throwing, which was super exciting back in 21. You got a golden rock. So he hung out with us, and then I was like, hey, you know what? You should really come to evening program. And this is back in the day when we still had Big Zip as evening program. And I was like, you should just give it a try. Even if you come and you don't end up doing it, you still should come and try it out. And he ended up going. And I just felt like I spent a whole week seeing that kid in different areas. And I got to eventually see him go down the zip line. And it was very rewarding. And he turned out to be a really cool kid. His favorite thing was black and white movies and silent films. So the conversations that I had with this kid were definitely ones I'm going to remember for a long time because he was very unique. But honestly, just any situation where I get to coach a kid and see them go down is just super, super rewarding, and I absolutely love it. It's my favorite part of the job.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh yeah, last year we had a girl that was trying to earn her Eagle Scout, and she wasn't able to do certain parts of it, so they made a like you can hike up the trail to the Big Zip and do it, which for her that was really awesome. Then she could earn her merit badge, or not her merit badge, but her rank. So it took a lot of team effort. There were people that worked here in our health and safety medical team that helped her hike. They even took a chair so she could rest occasionally, but she made it all the way to the top. I got to clip her in, and she rode the Big Zip, and it was like the best feeling ever. Just like seeing her achieve her goals through us doing something we do every day. It was like such an amazing experience for her and her family, and they were all there. They got to watch her. They had her grandma at the bottom. It was just a really, really great experience. So yeah, her name was Sky. She was awesome.
Oh, that's wonderful. And that really, like, that's what it's all about. As cheesy as it sounds, but like I think I can like speak for all of us when I say this. Like that's why we do the stuff we do. Like on those hard nights, those long nights, or even like days when we're like, man, why on earth did I ever step foot back in West Virginia? those transformative experiences like make all the difference, and really like remind me like why I like my job and like why I keep coming back. So
Absolutely.
Super cool to hear. Thank you guys for sharing.
So before we get too far in, we quickly want to shout out the Bunker Garden Ground Outfitters. I do not have any merch to show off to y'all, but be sure if you want to pick up any cool Summit swag or anything like that, go to store.summitbsa.org and use the code Ariel this week for 25% off at checkout for all your online orders. And yeah, you can pick up one of those cool blankets or some nice hats, t-shirts, flannel. They've got a lot of cool stuff. So again, be sure to go to store.summitbsa.org and use code Ariel at checkout for 25% off on your online order.
Thank you, Bunker. We love you.
Absolutely. We love the Bunker.
Ms. Graham. Shout out to the Graham twins and all of the Bunker staff. We appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
So I think enough about the Summit. Well, I love this property and I love this site. I think we need to just yap a little bit about the local area because, like, I know, like, with Sarah being a local, like me and Corey just being around enough summers, and you having stayed in second season, being able to explore so much. What are like some of everyone's favorite spots? Just like whether like food or attractions, stores. What are like a couple of our favorite spots, and we'll go from there.
Favorite food is going to be Tudor's Biscuit World. If you haven't had Tudor's, you have to add it to your bucket list. It's that good. I get a little tater or an egg and cheese biscuit, and man, it is scrumdiddlyumptious. And then in terms of like favorite places to explore, I have spent a lot of time in Thurmond. I've had some really cool experiences out there. I've seen a lot of really cool stuff. Like one morning I was hammock camping, and I woke up and I didn't have my glasses on, but I could see little images or like little blobs in the river. And from someone who could see and actually tell what they were, it turned out to be two otters who were playing. So I could, make them out. Couldn't see them all the way, but that was still really cool. I've also had a very scary experience with a beaver. So now I have a fear of beavers. I don't ever want to see one again. But yeah, Thurmond is super cool, and it's an old town. You can go explore it. The train still goes through it. It's really, really pretty down there, especially after it has just rained. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Okay, so hiking anywhere in the gorge is great. There's a place called Nuttleberg that's got a lot of old mine ruins that you can explore and a lot of good trails. Going down to Hawk's Nest, down at the river, there's a great rail trail. They've turned a railway into a trail. You can hike all the way down to the river. I've paddleboarded down there. It's really, really nice down in the gorge. Food-wise, let me think. I really like wood iron. It's great. I also love the Greek food at Free Folk in the Fayetteville location. I haven't got to try the pizza at their other location or anything, but they have really good gyros and salads and stuff there. So I would recommend that. Trying to think. Summersville Lake is also really beautiful, and the town is a little underrated. You can go over there and find some good food and shops and stuff too if you want to get a little bit off the beaten path of just the Fayetteville area. But any of those places are pretty cool.
Oh, love to hear it. So we're gonna do a little bit of experiment. And we didn't put it on the brief because I think Corey and I, it's like a theory for us at this point. It's totally like there are no wrong answers, but it's just kind of a bit Corey and I have the whole season thus far. So if you had to choose like one coffee/brunch place in Fayetteville and then one overall attraction in Beckley, what would you guys choose? But there are no wrong answers. But like Corey and I really want to know if. We just want to know what you guys would think.
Absolutely.
And then him and I will answer after you two go. But like this is all in good fun. So like it's just don't worry.
Okay, coffee. I guess it would be Cathedral. Their coffee is really good, but I will say that Hilltop in Oak Hill is by far the best. It's not in Fayetteville, but it's like, 10, 15 minutes down the road. So good. I had it at Bridge Day for the first time, and I became addicted to it. I went so much, and it's so expensive, and the avocado toast is really, really good, but it's like this big. $7. Yes, exactly. And then what was it? Favorite store? This is really hard because I feel like Beckley has nothing. But they did just get a new Goodwill, and it's big compared to the one that was there before. I did go in it for the first time the other day and found absolutely nothing, so I can't really say that was my favorite. I guess my favorite would be Joann's. I love crafts, so going in there is like, I can spend like an hour in there just looking at every single thing, and I'm like, wow, I feel like a new person. New ideas are popping up. Am I ever going to do them? Probably not, but
So I mentioned Wood Iron. It's really great. Hilltop, they have some good grilled cheeses too. I like their coffee specials. They make an amazing sandwich board of beautiful, colorful chalk art that shows all their specials every month, and they're usually really good. In Beckley, let's see. I mean, it's definitely a great place to go see a movie, or if you need to do any kind of like random shopping. There's a lot of stores. There is an exhibition coal mine there. I went there as a kid on a field trip, so I don't know. But a lot of people like to still do that as a tourist attraction. So you actually get to go into like the beginning of a coal mine, and it's very cold and dark. Trying to think what else is. Yeah.
That's cool.
And I guess Grandview's not too far away. It's a nice overlook. If you want to see the rhododendron in the spring, it's a good place to check that out.
Yes, of course. No, that's what we're here for.
the chocolate mousse. The chocolate mousse in Beckley.
It
It is our one singular climbing gym, and it's the tiniest climbing gym ever, but it is so fun, and they have so many really cool holds. They have like a chameleon hold and a broccoli hold and like just random objects that you place up on the climbing wall. They also have really good coffee, and they have Hershey's ice cream. You cannot go wrong with Hershey's ice cream. I'm telling you, it is the best.
And they have a mini golf course where you actually play uphill because it's in West Virginia. So it's probably one of the most difficult mini golf courses I've ever played. And I think if you're really good at it and you want to challenge, go there and play mini golf.
Oh, perfect. I will cover the Fayetteville side of things, and then I'll let Corey cover the Beckley side of this bit. But so I completely agree with you guys. I absolutely love Hilltop Coffee. Last year, when me and the Graham twins were going out on like a little like when me, Becca, Liz, and Thea were driving to Pittsburgh to go see Ed Sheeran, we stopped at Hilltop to get coffee before our road trip, and it was amazing. Like it was super good. And then I go like every opportunity I can. It gets a little annoying sometimes because that like side road by like the convention center is like, I feel like I'm in like Mario Kart, like someone's throwing bananas at my car. But like no, I love Hilltop, so I could not agree more with you. Huge Wood Iron fan. I have probably said this too many times on the podcast. I swear by the ice salted caramel latte and the big burrito. It's a little heavy, so like it definitely can be shared, I think. But like the big burrito at Wood Iron is amazing. But the reason why we asked you guys is because like totally unprompted. Well, like one of the reasons why Corey and I like love this podcast and wanted to start it was because we wanted to talk about the local area and highlight like just our local spots, because like that is like arguably one of the best things about the summit is just like how we get to live and experience such a wonderful area. And every week at least one person will say cathedral unprompted.
Absolutely.
Usually it's me, but like our guests usually like cathedral. And we just love cathedral. Super great food, good vibes, super fun. And then every single guest, like everyone thus far, has said
The chocolate mousse.
Corey's personal favorite.
You can't go wrong with
But
it.
you can't go wrong.
I know at the beginning of the season, the team was going out for one of our team members' birthday, and we started out as a group of like 5 and wound up as a group of 14 because we were taking so long because we were just having a good time, and we just loved it. It was absolutely the best. And one of them, and actually 2 of our team members, Alex and Paige, they both got a hole in one on one of them, so that was really fun and awesome. So I think Paige got like a free game one time, and then Alex got like a free drink. So that was pretty cool. And then an honorable mention. This is not Beckley or Fayetteville, but Kanawha Falls. That's a really good place to go. Me and a buddy, Nick, we both went fishing there one time. Or actually, it was me, Nick, and Hill. Some of my buddies that come up here for the summer, and then they're also from my area. We all went down there and went fishing, and we caught only one catfish the entire like 6 hours that we were there, but we had a great time. It was really fun. So Canal Falls is really beautiful. They have like this nice little like waterfall looking area that's from a spillway. We called it a spillway. Bill was like, I've never heard people call it a spillway, but so yeah, Canal Falls is absolutely amazing.
Love to hear it.
Absolutely.
Yes, we love the local area. And shout out again to Chocolate Mousse. We love you.
Yes.
They do really have everything. Like they have ice cream, they have coffee, they have the climbing gym.
So one thing that I want to talk about is y'all mentioned Bridge Day, and
Yes.
we
have to talk about. I've been waiting for this point of the episode.
I
that you two
did
can
not
tell
hear
us
about Bridge Day until like a month ago, and so that was something very new to me, and I was like, they do what? And so I want y'all to tell me about that, especially for the people who may not know, who haven't really been here or like heard of it. Just tell us what goes on during that here in West Virginia.
Yeah, so Bridge Day is one of the largest single-day festivals in like the East Coast. People come from all over the world because you are legally, one time only of the year, you're legally allowed to walk on the bridge, and if you are you have enough documented jumps and that you're like an actual like professional base jumper, you can base jump off the bridge. So a bunch of people come and they either jump off of a platform or they get launched by this big like Red Bull catapult, and they jump out, open their parachutes, and plunge 876 feet down into the New River Gorge. Being a local and being, here for pretty much my whole life, I've been on a raft underneath the bridge during Bridge Day. I have sold raffle tickets as a teenager on the bridge during Bridge Day. I have worked a lot of just random tourist things during it. It's really great for the town. It's really exciting. Back in the 90s, they used to let people bungee jump, and they quit doing that. There's a commercial you can look up, though, where they actually show bungeeing like a truck off the bridge. I think it's like a Chevy commercial. Really weird. You can look it up, though. It's real. And they also do rappelling off the bridge on Bridge Day. So there's a whole crew that will like set up their racks and rappel off the bridge. And I know a lot of people that come here to do camp school and stuff are super excited about maybe organizing a team for that at some point. But it's a lot of excitement. And then the town of Fayetteville, so on either end of the bridge, there'll be a lot of vendors. So you can get all of your good foods and just gifts and knickknacks and all that stuff. People can rent booths to sell. A lot of the locals do that. People come from all over the state to sell stuff on Bridge Day. But the town itself will have like a chili cook-off, and they'll have just all sorts of little like local events in town. There'll be a 5K race, just different things going on. It's a big deal. But if you don't want to go to the festival, you might as well stay home that day because traffic is like rerouted every which way. You have to take a really big detour to bypass the bridge because they actually shut it down. One lane is just for foot traffic, and the other side's basically for rafting buses to be able to get through, and everyone else has to go all the way down Route 16 and Route 60 to get past the bridge. So it's a pretty big deal. The bridge has been here since the 70s, so it's pretty cool.
Love to hear it. Jess, would you like to talk about Bridge Day?
So last year was my first year going to Bridge Day at the beginning, like the first week of second season. I gave Braxton a time off request. I was like, I'm taking off Bridge Day. So Braxton, if you see this, you are legally required to give me off Bridge Day this year as well. But it was so fun. I had my brother come out and stay the weekend so he could also experience it. And they shut down the bridge and they have vendors set up. So it was super fun to go see all the vendors. There were a lot of pretty jewelry they had there, a lot of cool clothes and a lot of West Virginia stuff. But the best part is just watching people jump. Like, I swear we probably stood and watched people jump for like 3 or 4 hours and did not get tired of it. It was so cool. And the human catapult is so crazy and so epic to watch. Like, they don't do it that much. They only do it like, I don't know, maybe once an hour or something like that. At least last year I didn't see it that much, but it's really cool. And I think they have the scissor lift set up on the bridge so that when they jump it's 900 feet. Is that it?
I don't know the exact height, but yeah, they do a lift.
That was my
you
guess.
could do like a couple platforms, I think. You get options. It's what it looked like.
But it was a very, very cool experience, and I hope to go again this year and not have to brand.
as a local, I've also when I would be a zipline guide, people would just be like, "Oh, you must jump off the bridge," and I'm like, "No." They just think because you're like an exciting person that does an exciting job that everyone here just must jump. I'm like, no, you have to be like certified. You have to have documented jumps. Like you have to be like a professional to do that. It's really hard to get into.
I sent my grandma a photo last year and was like, look at where I'm at. And she was like, are you in line? Absolutely not. I am not in line. The wait list is like 3 years, and I might want to be an airbender, but I don't think that I could jump or rappel or do anything at that much of a height. Like that's just crazy. But it's very entertaining to watch other people do it. So.
Absolutely. So one question that I do have for y'all: if you had to choose any place on the summit besides like any aerial program, what would you say is like your favorite place at the summit? I know that's like probably a
Perry Park and the 5 stand. I'll just get mine out of the way. Perry Park and the 5 stand. The views at Perry Park are immaculate. I think like our next staff social should be like at Perry Park. Unless there's a wedding, because we don't want to ruin it. I'm like a Tuesday. We'll do on like a Tuesday, so there's like no weddings or anything. Because like seasonal staff, if you see this on a day when there's absolutely no wedding and get permission from your director, go up to Perry Park and see it, because that view is just like unforgettable.
Absolutely.
I think that my second favorite place at Summit has got to be the lake. Goodrich East, to be specific. I love fishing. You will not catch me fishing outside right now while it's this hot. Absolutely not. Plus, the bite wouldn't be that good anyway. But I also got a paddleboard for Christmas, so I've been out a couple times paddling, and I got to see the Summit otter. And I also got to see a mink. It was so cute. It was adorable. But in the fall time and in the spring, when it's a bit more tolerable outside, I absolutely adore going out and fishing. I can only handle it for so long. Walker can do it literally like 14 hours, and I'm like, can we please go home? He had me out there in the snow. He had me out there in the rain when it was 30 degrees outside, and I was like, please, I'm tired of this, Grandma. But I love the lakes. They're awesome. They're beautiful, and there is so much to see around them. So.
Well, I think you guys have good taste, because Perry Park does have an amazing view. And I also like fishing. I brought my family here several times before we got really busy in the summer, and we would fish. The trail that goes around the other side of the lake, though, is really, really nice. I brought some friends here in the fall, and we hiked all around that, and there's all these nice dock like parts of the trail. We were doing like yoga on the docks, and it was really cool. So definitely some fun places to explore that are not just aerial canopy tours, but
Yeah. I mean, my personal opinion as a rover and whitewater, but like they're very different vibes. I hear like, I mean, like in my experience as a rover, like when I like ask people what it's like, it's between either like aerial sports or whitewater. So, but it's like two very separate things. So. But they have the common ground of like adrenaline. Because like I love adrenaline. Like y'all know me and my Halloween and haunted houses, and like I love roller coasters. Like when I'm out here, I definitely miss being able to go on roller coasters. But I get to do Big Zip like frequently, so that kind of scratches the itch for sure. As far as adrenaline goes, but.
So the last question I have for the day, for anybody coming here, what would you like say as like an aerial like insider pro tip, like if they're coming to do aerial stuff,
or maybe like a surprising fact, or like maybe like an underground like pro tip about aerial, if y'all could maybe think of one.
Number one, wear closed-toed shoes, please. And then number two, wear closed-toed shoes, please. I think my little insider tip would be like, if you're comfortable, you can ask a staff member to do the staff position going down Big Zip, and you get a little flatter, you can go a little faster, and it definitely enhances the experience. So I think that would be my little insider tip.
Yeah, and mine kind of plays to yours. It's like it's hard when you're not used to doing exciting things every day. Maybe you're nervous. Maybe it's out of your comfort zone. But the staff here does do this every day. So when they give you some advice or some tips, go ahead and try it, because you're actually going to have a better experience if you listen to the professional than if you're listening to your brain that's telling you, don't jump off the platform, don't climb up the wall. Like if you're willing to relax and give it a chance and trust the people that do it every day, you're going to have a much better experience, because we've done it enough to know how to do it right and how to do it wrong, and we can help you out if you just give us a little bit of trust.
100%.
Absolutely. Well, Clifton, you got anything else? I know we all could probably sit here and talk for another 3 hours, but that's why we make an outline for ourselves to keep us on track.
I think like just kind of like bouncing off the two of y'all said, I like just try things. Like, just like be nice, listen to the staff, hear what they have to say, because like, and even though I love jamborees, obviously I've probably been to too many at this point, but I like to tell my people when they're a little apprehensive is think of all the thousands of people that have come to a jamboree and never gotten to do the Big Zip, but in High Adventure we get to do it once a week. Mm-hmm. So just do the Big Zip.
Absolutely.
At least. Just do it. Just try it all. That's what we're here for. We have an amazing program. So, but yeah, listen to the staff. Be nice. Be kind to our aerial staff. They deserve it, and they know what they're doing. So,
Yay.
Well, I believe that's all for today's episode. Thank you, each and every one of you, for coming and joining us. Thank you, Jess and Sara, for joining us.
Thank you guys
thanks
so
all for
much.
having us.
I know that y'all have a very busy schedule, so thank y'all for making time for us to come on the podcast and tell all these amazing people about aerial in the local area. Be sure, if you're not already, though, to be sure you subscribe or like and follow us on all of our social medias. And then also, as a reminder, use code Ariel at checkout at store.summitbsa.org for 25% off on your online orders to get some cool Summit swag. And I think that's all I got for today. So, yeah.
Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you in the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye.